Alright, man. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the most surprising things this season. We talking about the whole NBA season. Now, first, let's start off with something y'all don't even remember, bro. Y'all might not even take into consideration. It's James Harden defense. If you look at the amount of blocks and steals he had this season, it's comparable with other players, averaging like one a game each respectively. It's like crazy. James Harden really been stepping it up on defense, and we can't even lie. Talking about James Harden, why don't we talk about the small ball that they've been running? The Rockets small ball. Who the hell would ever think that they would do that? Considering they had an all-star caliber player in Clint Capella, great rim protector, all that. You feel me? And they gave him up for like Robert Covington. Robert Covington is a good player, but he's no Clint Capella, I'll tell you that much. And then, what are we going to talk about? The T-Wolves losing a lot. Alright, so they have two former number one overall picks, Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. And I tell you this much, man, Andrew Wiggins is starting to look like a bust even more and more each year. He's not doing much on the 20-point score, that's cool. But what's his scoring options? It says, like, he shoots terrible from the field. He's been shooting worse this year, and all that stuff. Respectively, he's been taking more shots too. But only more shots means more points. And it doesn't really go through that. And Karl-Anthony Towns, yeah, everybody respects him so much and thinks of him as a good, like, modern big. But his defense has been lacking so much. It's like, it's stupid as hell to ever put him in the conversation for being an all-star this year at least. Let down his team entirely. But now they have D'Lo on the way. You know, D'Lo can help a lot. At least I hope he can. We don't see that happens, man. D'Lo, they got rid of Andrew Wiggins and all that stuff to go to the Warriors. And the Warriors still have a really good chance to contend. You know, it might not be like the Clippers' chance because they're so deep. But the Warriors, they really have a good cast right now. A bunch of young people that they can trade for better players in the future. Next one is when the Nuggets swept the Bucks in the season series. Now let's take this to the first game, alright? I know y'all gonna be mad. And yeah, the Nuggets, we only won by 12 against them when they didn't have Giannis or Chris Middleton. Or Brook Lopez, I think. But look, we went to their house with an injured player. No Jamal Murray. No Gary Harris. MPJ got injured in the middle of the game. Paul Millsap was still injured. Who else? I mean, shit, if you're asking me, that's a lot already. 3 of our 5 starters were out. We had Will Barton and Jokic, only starters. You feel me? It was terrible, and we ended up showing up. Will Barton drops like a 30 bomb. It's crazy, right? Then they come back to Denver, and of course we beat them. They had a slow cast, but thing it is, we're probably one of the only teams that we swept them in the season series. I think we actually are the only team that swept them in the season series. So just see that. It's crazy. And let's go to the people that can potentially stop Giannis. Okay, I'm not going to involve any Denver defenders because I say that game in Milwaukee, Giannis had a pretty good game. I'm not going to lie, you know. Jeremy Grant came in pretty big. He had some big blocks. Same thing with MPJ. MPJ was really good with him because he's fast and tall, just like Giannis. But I'm not going to put them in the conversation. We're going to be talking about Bam Adebayo. You know, his chance in guarding Giannis. They played the Heat in Miami, and Bam just clamped them up so much that Giannis sat the rest of the 8 minutes of that game. Didn't even get a fighting chance. They won by like 15 to 20 or something like that. It's crazy. Another potential stopper, of course, is Kawhi. You know, he's only 6'7", but his defense is just crazy. Okay, it didn't look like that too much last year in the playoffs because Giannis, the first 2 games, man, he got what he wanted against that Raptors team. But Kawhi is still a good defender. I feel like he's still taking on Giannis. The length just kills. Simmons and Embiid are great defenders, but I'm saying that they probably not going to get deep into the playoffs this year if the season start back up. Because, man, what happened with them? They played so well last year and barely got knocked out in the second round. And they're very young. They got knocked out in the second round by 5 seconds. If the 5 seconds were on the clock, they'd have a chance to come back in OT. And all that is crazy. And, you know, Ben Simmons can clamp him up. Ben Simmons is a big, long, fast forward, just like Giannis. And Embiid, similar guy, you know what I mean? And then Siakam, of course, Pascal Siakam. If he wants to step up on defense, I feel like he'd be great. You know, I didn't see many matchups of him against Giannis this year. But, you know, I feel like if he stepped up on defense, he has a good chance. He's 6'10", 6'11". Similar speed as Giannis, you know, might not have the physicality yet. He is a freaking second-round draft pick in the end of the day. And I want to talk about the Rookie of the Year race, okay? This was very controversial. Because when we talk about the Rookie of the Year race, it looked like Zion, if he was playing all, like 60 games at that point, he probably would have got it. But nah, I feel like even if Zion was playing these great basketball for the past 19, 20 games, Ja should get it. He pulled a very horrific Memphis team into a playoff spot. You know, it might be the 8 seed, but it's the playoff spot, and he's a rookie. Zion played really great basketball too during this season, but he just didn't play enough, I could say, to go and like compete for the Rookie of the Year. You know, why Embiid didn't get Rookie of the Year is because he was so hurt that season. That's why Malcolm Brogdon got it. You know, we've seen similar things like that in the past. So I feel like that's why Ja would win the thing. And then the MVP race, and how I feel like Giannis couldn't lose that. Giannis could not at all. Maybe if that injury, which I doubt it, if that injury held on to the rest of the season, he couldn't play the rest of the season, then maybe LeBron would have got it because he just didn't play as much. But I feel like Giannis would have had it under his belt. LeBron had the probably top 4 player in the league at the time. Anthony Davis. I'll say Anthony Davis is better than LeBron right now. You know, LeBron's a really good player, but LeBron would not have that individual success when it comes to averaging over 10 assists a game if it wasn't for Anthony Davis. And they wouldn't have a spot. They would not be first in the West if it wasn't for Anthony Davis. You saw last year when they had all those pieces. I mean, Zoe, even though he's not the most prolific scorer, he's a really good playmaking and defender. Brandon Ingram, he's a pretty good scorer. Kuzma, of course. And then who else is he? And they sent Josh Hart over there, who's a decent scorer, decent 3-and-D guy. You know, they lost all those people. And to trade for Anthony Davis, yeah, that's cool. But they had all those people, and they couldn't do that last year. LeBron missed the playoffs. So I feel like Anthony Davis has done a lot for that Laker team. I feel like in the future, once LeBron, maybe he retires in the next 3 to 5 years, you know, Anthony Davis is going to get the hell out of there. Because what's his supporting cast going to be? Rondo, if he doesn't retire yet. Kuzma. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It would be stupid to stay in Los Angeles unless you're going to the Clippers. Then I'd say, man, the Thunder success. We know Chris Paul is great. I would love to see him as a Hall of Famer, even though he didn't get a ring, MVP, certain things like that. Chris Paul's defense has been impeccable for his size. His playmaking ability is crazy. You know, didn't average 20 points per game for a lot of seasons, but that's cool though. It's not like his impact was most defined on the offensive side when it comes to shooting the ball, even though he's a really good shooter. He shot like 40+% from the field, 45+% from the field this season and his whole career. You know, it's like he's a very smart guy. I feel like if there's somebody like Chris Paul on a team that needed playmaking, that was just a really good scoring juggernaut, but they needed playmaking. Let's say if Lonzo wasn't in New Orleans, if they had Chris Paul in there, I feel like they'd be damn near a finals team. You know, Chris Paul in Brooklyn would be better than Kyrie, just 'cause Kyrie can't facilitate like that. You have a guy named Kevin Durant on your team, and DeAndre Jordan, Jared Allen, which can be good, Lob City catches, all that. But it's like, in the end of the day, I'd take Chris Paul over most of the guards in the league. Now it's like his age is kind of killer. He's so old. It's like, who would you want to take? Chris Paul or a young guy you can turn into Chris Paul, you know? So, I mean, their success is crazy. And, you know, we know Chris Paul is great. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander stepping it up. Schroeder off the bench, which I feel like is a potential 6-man of the year candidate. What the hell? Who knew Dennis Schroeder could play such valuable minutes? You know, I knew he was a solid point guard in the league. But it's like they're playing in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. And they were expecting with 36 games this year. Man, how the 76ers are falling apart. So everybody knows this. Simmons had better numbers when Joel was off the court. Yeah, think of that. So I was thinking that they should build around Simmons and not Joel as much. Send Joel to a different team. Get something you can get for him. Because it's like Ben Simmons, you could probably build him around like a Giannis type player. He's that type of offensive player. Like, you really get to the cup. His shooting would help, right? But nobody was urging Giannis to shoot threes that much in Milwaukee just because they had a team built around him. So I feel like he had a team built around him, he'd be a lot more successful. Because his numbers were better when Joel was off the court. And Joel didn't offer a lot of space, and he'd be sitting on the block in the dunker spot, or he'd be sitting waiting to post up. He's a great offensive player, but they just don't work well together just because Joel's pretty damn ball dominant when it comes to scoring. He's not a stretch big like Brook Lopez has turned into. He's more like the younger days when Brook Lopez was a really good post scorer. And then how they lost Jimmy Butler, man. Jimmy said he didn't know what the fuck was going on in Philly. Whether it be the locker room, the coaching staff, and all that. Man, I feel like they kept Jimmy Butler. They could have a possible finals appearance this year. Just because Jimmy Butler, of course, he has spacing because he's not a terrible three-point shooter and mid-range shooter. But he has great defense and great mentality, and he always has that push. He grew up, and he was put out on the streets very young, which is not to say that he's a hard worker, but I'm just saying that's another reason why he was probably a hard worker. So, yeah. That's the end of the video, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Leave a like and all that. See y'all.